Hey everybody, it's me Amanda with Once in a Wild. Welcome to Once in a Wild Wednesday, and we're happy that you are here with us. And it looks like everything is working great this week. If you were with us last week and you tried to view us on YouTube, I'm so very sorry, but I think YouTube was having issues because we were never broadcasted on there until the end, and then the video just magically uploaded at the end. But what are you gonna do? We tried our very best. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just get started. So how is everybody doing this week? I've missed you all week. It's been a very, 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 very busy week here at Once in a Wild. I don't know about you, but how are we doing out there? Feel free to comment and question all the things down below, whatever you would like. This is always an interactive event. So if you are new here, hello, my name is Amanda, and this is Once in a Wild. Once in a Wild is a traveling mobile zoo based in San Antonio, Texas, but we're also a virtual zoo, as you can see, of course, before your very eyes. Here I am on YouTube and on Facebook. We're here every single Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, of course, because we're here in Texas, of course. And we figured that would be a nice time for most everybody to watch our live streams. So feel free to join us every single week if you would like to, and feel free to go back and watch all of the rest of the live streams that we've done. There are over 60 live stream broadcasts on YouTube. And do me a very special favor, all of you out there, please subscribe to our YouTube channel Once in a Wild if you haven't already. It looks like I have a very, very noisy animal right next to me, but that's okay. So today we are going to meet, maybe meet 4 different animal species and many different animal individuals today. Are you excited? I do want to make sure that everybody knows that this broadcast is free, but we do have, of course, tipping and donation options down below, which are right here. We have Venmo, we have Cash App, and we also do have PayPal. They are all the same exact handle, which is Once in a Wild, which is our company name, of course, Once in a Wild. You can find us on Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal that way, and you can donate an amount of your choice. All proceeds go to animal care and anything we need for the animals, right? Whether that be food, housing, vet bills, all the things, enrichment, which is like things for the animals to do, toys and whatnot. And then we also have our onceinawild.com, right over here, onceinawild.com. You can find all the information about us as well as learning about some of our animals. You can go and see which events are coming up. Thanks you to each and every one of our fans, if you will, that came out to our public events these last couple of weekends. We had a few public events, so thank you so very much for coming out and meeting Sandor the rabbit, Iggy the guinea pig, and all of his friends. We had the tortoises out there, bearded dragons, all kinds of animals. We had a couple of our snakes out there too. So thank you so very much for those of you that attended our public events out there in San Antonio. That was really fun. So at onceinaWilds.com, there it is. You can actually learn about like when those events are coming up next or what's happening, all the things. We're always improving our website all the time. You can also find merch at onceinawild.com, which helps us out, of course. All proceeds go to animal care. And also you can book your very own animal encounter, whether it be virtual, just like this, but you get to pick the animals and the duration of time that you hang out with me and learn about the animals. Those are great for classrooms all over the place. As long as there's internet access, of course, you can have a virtual animal encounter. Those are a lot of fun. Go to Once in a Wild to book those today. You can also book a in-person animal encounter of your choosing. Again, you get to pick the animals, the duration of time, and where I go see you. But we are servicing the San Antonio, Texas, and surrounding cities area, of course, once again, here in person. And we do, of course, still wear masks and everything like that. And we have to comply with all the precautions because of the times at hand, but we are out in public again. So if you do have the desire to book your own animal encounter, virtual or in person, of course, please go to onceinawild.com to book today, or you can always call me. My number's right here as well. And you can chat with me about that encounter as well that you would like to book. That is the best way to help us out, honestly, because you get an amazing animal encounter and all proceeds go to our animal care. And another way you can help us out at onceinawild.com is via our Amazon wishlist. There is a really neat button all the way down at the bottom of the website, onceinawild.com. Go scroll all the way down to the bottom and hit that button that says donate to Amazon. That is where you can find the link to Amazon, of course, and that is our wish list for all the animals. We have animal toys, we have animal beds, we have all kinds of food items that you can donate to us. So that's a great way to help us out as well. But this program every Wednesday, Once in a Wild Wednesday, at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We do broadcast this live stream for free of charge. So no pressure at all. I just want to make sure and get that out of the way so you guys know how to donate to Once in a Wild, and every single donation is much appreciated. So let's see who's tuning in. Hello, everybody. Hello, Irene, my brother from Africa is tuning in. Hello, Irene. So wonderful to see you. We love you. Christian is here. My other brother, my brother-in-law, Christian Moeller. Hello. Ricky's saying everything looks good on YouTube. Thank goodness, because that was quite a week we had last week. Oh my goodness, all the technical difficulties. Alejandro is tuning in as well. Hello, Alejandro from the Valley. He's from McAllen. And Alejandro also operates and owns his own animal outreach business in the McAllen area as well. Please check it out. It's called Contacto Animal USA. And if you happen to be down in the Valley, he is your go-to for animal encounters for classrooms, parties, all kinds of wonderful things. And that's what we do as well here at Once in a Wild with our animals. Our animals are trained to travel to different events. Classrooms are our favorite, but parties are fine, and other events like maybe an office gathering, we can also do that virtually as well. So there are many, many, many different reasons and ways to book Once in a Wild. So please let us know if you're interested in any of that, and we can talk. Every program is custom and basically catered to you. So we are here to help you, and let us know. Another thing that we also offer to the general public is pet care consulting. If you guys ever have trouble with your pets, we are here to help you and get you kind of pointed in the right direction for your pet care needs and for advice. And we also do rescue animals here at Once in a Wild. In fact, we're going to meet just one of our animal rescues, hopefully today, if she decides to participate. She is brand new to Once in a Wild, so give her some patience if she decides to not come out. That is her choice. We give our animals choices here at Once in a Wild because that is good animal training. We use positive reinforcement, and animals have free choice usually of what they, get to do. Now, of course, we don't want to put our animals in unsafe situations. So if there's a safety reason that we have to, contain our animal or something like that, they don't have a choice there. But it's kind of like kids, right? If they're running out into the road, you want to save them. But in general, our animals do get choices of whether they want to work and earn something positive in return or not. So we shall see what our brand new animal decides to do. We also have some other new animals that are going to come out and meet you guys. And we do rescue animals. So if you guys ever have an animal that's exotic or a little bit, maybe you don't know how to take care of it or needs a home, let us know. If we cannot take that animal in, which we can't take everything because we don't have a huge facility yet. We are home-based, and we also don't have millions of dollars yet, but who knows in the future. But my point is, if we can't take that particular animal, if an animal is in need, let us know. I do know a lot of people in the zoo field and in the animal field in general, so I can always try to help out. So that's something we also do that you guys may not know about, is we do rescue animals and make sure that you guys are taking care of taking care of your pet, and offer all of those advices as well. So we're here for you. Our number's right there. Don't ever hesitate to text or call me, and check out onceinawild.com if you need anything else. Okay, guys, welcome. I think it's time to get started with our animal encounter, because that's what you're here for, I'm sure. And once a week, we do broadcast this on Wednesday evenings at 6:30 p.m. Central. I'm just checking my camera really fast. Thank you for your patience. And we do try to at least present 3 animals every single week so you guys can learn about them, get an education, if you will. And please feel free to ask all the questions that you would like about the animals. If I don't know the answer to your question, I usually go back in time. Well, I don't go back in time, but I go back and watch the video, and then I will answer your question manually after a little research. But I don't know everything. So sometimes you can stump me with questions, which is a lot of fun. And I'm always learning all the time. It helps me to learn when you ask questions I don't know. So that's perfectly fine, but feel free to type in any questions or comments that you would like. Seeing your comments always encourages me as well. So let's get started with a reptile, shall we? Here at Once in a Wild, we do have many reptile species, and this is one of the neatest lizards in our collection, in my opinion. So this is BT. BT hasn't been on the show in a little while, and BT is a blue tongue skink. That's what BT stands for. That's why we named this lizard BT. Now BT, we don't know the gender because this type of lizard, the blue tongue skink, is really hard to tell the gender. And since we're not a breeder of these guys or anything like that, there's no real reason to know the gender. In fact, a lot of breeders of blue tongue skinks have a hard time telling too. Sometimes it's behavior. When you put male and female together, of course, you can see their behavior together and things like that. So a lot of it's trial and error, but males and females look almost completely identical. Of course, if one had a baby or something like that, you could tell, but that's going to be kind of rare without having, a mating situation. As far as we know, they don't necessarily have babies without mating, but many reptiles actually experience a birth without mating at all. So that could potentially happen, but that would definitely be a way to tell, right? Without doing some kind of like x-ray or having a veterinary procedure to tell gender. There's no real reason for us to need to know the gender of this animal other than we would be curious. I'm super curious whether or not this is a girl or a boy, but we named him or her BT because BT just stands for blue tongue. It's kind of a gender neutral name, right? BT is also one of our favorite musicians in trans music, if you know anything about BT and his music. So we have a lot of musical names here once in a while, so it kind of fits right in. Anywho, so this is a Australian animal, but I should probably say Australasian animal because this animal is found in Australia, but this specific subspecies of the blue-tongued skink is from Indonesia. So it's kind of Australasia. So Australia and surrounding islands is where this animal in general comes from. Blue-tongued skinks are one of the larger species of skink in the world, but BT here, the individual, is actually about half grown. So this species can get about 2 to 3 times this size. Reptiles never stop growing anyway, so they kind of grow little by little anyway the rest of their life. But this species is one of the larger species of skink in the world. The largest species of skink in the world, to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure about this, is going to be the Solomon Island prehensile-tailed skink. Those guys are a tree-climbing skink, so imagine this animal, but more suited for climbing trees with big giant hands, almost like an iguana, and also a prehensile tail, hence the name prehensile-tailed skink. So that is a different species though, and they, I believe, are the largest, and there might be different subspecies of the prehensile-tailed skink, also known as the monkey skink. That is a neat species. This species, however, is not a tree-climbing animal at all. They are a terrestrial animal, which means they dwell on the ground all the time. They have very short, teeny tiny little legs. Front legs and back legs are both very small. And they are designed to kind of scoot along the ground. Their belly literally scoots along the ground too. They kind of even look like a snake when they move around because they're belly draggers. That's just how they are. They do dwell underground sometimes as well if they can find a burrow to go underneath or underneath a rock or a fallen log, or even maybe dig a little burrow for themselves as well. They prefer to be hidden away from danger, right? Like a lot of animals do. But they are definitely terrestrial. And if they dwell below the ground, that's called subterrestrial. So like submarine, underwater, subterrestrial, underground. Makes sense, right? But this is definitely not a tree climbing animal, and they don't have a prehensile tail. In fact, this species of skink can actually lose their tail if threatened. So if this skink gets grabbed by a predator at the tail can drop off and then regenerate or regrow back. It takes a while to do, though. It can take months and months to grow back. It takes a lot of energy to do that. But it is a great survival technique if they have to lose the tail and survive to see another day, right? Now, what might you ask are the predators of this type of skink in Australasia? Well, it's mostly going to be birds of prey, but they can also be preyed upon by other lizards, foxes, dingoes, all kinds of predators out there, right? Especially if they are babies. When these guys are first born, they are very, very tiny. Maybe when I set BT down, I can show you how tiny, because I don't want to move my hands because he seems awfully comfortable. He or she seems awfully comfortable. But they are very tiny when born, of course, just like most animals. And so they are very vulnerable to predators. But as an adult blue-tongued skink, it's really going to be birds of prey, foxes, other lizards, and things like that, and etc. So there can be several choices. But birds of prey end up being kind of their most common predators, like hawks and falcons and eagles and things like that in Australia. So these guys have to have a defense mechanism, and they have several. We already talked about the tail. If a predator grabs them by the tail, that can fall off. Basically, it just kind of snaps right off without bleeding too much or anything like that. It's part of their defense, and that regenerates back. It can regrow back, and they can use that defense mechanism again if they need to in the future. But another way to stay safe is by biting. These guys can bite. They do have a very powerful set of jaws, which they actually use most of the time to eat one of their favorite foods, which happen to be snails. This is a omnivore, so they do eat all kinds of foods, fruits and vegetables, as well as other animals. Insects end up being kind of their main source of animal protein, but they can eat things like snails, they can eat small rodents, they can eat other smaller lizards, We mentioned the smaller lizards are more vulnerable to larger lizards eating them. This one is no different. So if they come across a very small lizard, they might eat it. They might eat a very small frog. They're kind of opportunistic that way. And they are definitely predators, but they're also omnivores. So they can eat things like fruits, fallen fruits from the trees, right? Because they're not climbing trees. They can eat vegetables of different kinds, and snails end up usually being their favorite diet. So they have a very strong set of, what are you looking at? Looking at yourself? Look at that intelligent face, just kind of looking down like, clever girl. I had to do it, you guys. I love Jurassic Park. But yeah, so they're going to have very, very strong jaws to crunch snail shells and maybe even crustaceans that they find out there in the natural world to eat, and all kinds of like scorpions and things like that. They have very strong mouths. And they are an animal that has teeth as well. They definitely have teeth. They don't have very large teeth, but they have numerous teeth that can regenerate too, just like their tail regenerates. Their teeth can regenerate as needed. So if they lose a tooth, it just grows right back. That is most reptiles. Most reptiles can regenerate their teeth when they need to, because they always need teeth to eat and things like that. I wish humans had that ability, but we only get 2 sets of teeth, right? And after your second set come in, then if you lose that tooth, your adult teeth, you have to buy teeth after that, right? That's how humans are. That's how a lot of mammals are too. But with reptiles, they have the power of regeneration when it comes to having their teeth regenerate, which is pretty awesome. Very handy. But their mouth is full of teeth, very tiny teeth, but very capable of biting, and their jaws are quite strong. So they can definitely defend themselves by biting. But what this species does most of the time to stay safe is not only hiding underneath leaves and grass and dirt and hiding in a burrow or underneath something like a rock. They also mimic. You probably heard of mimicry before when it comes to being an animal in general, right? Many animals use mimicry to pretend to be something else or to pretend to be dangerous. This animal actually pretends to be a snake. So at first glance, this animal might look just like a snake to whatever predatory animal coming in, especially from overhead. I'm trying to give you a little view of what they look like from overhead without disturbing this animal too much. But at first glance, this definitely looks like a snake. Imagine if its legs, arms and legs, were concealed by the grass. If this animal's legs were concealed by grass, dirt, leaf litter, etc., because remember, they're on the ground most of the time, right? They're just hanging out on the ground or underground. Those legs are very easily hidden while they're scooting along. That head is triangular shaped, right? Remind you of any animal in particular. And their pattern is really similar to viper species in Australia. So specifically, there is a very well-known viper species in Australia called the death adder. And the death adder looks very similar to this in pattern, in head shape, and the death adder even has a blue-black tongue, which of course, the blue-tongued skink has a blue-black tongue too, because otherwise they wouldn't be called the blue-tongued skink. So all of those things help them to mimic dangerous snakes like death adders and other types of vipers. And if a predator decides to maybe go for the skink anyway that looks like a viper, maybe they're feeling extra hungry that day, or maybe it's a predator that already eats vipers, like sometimes eagles and hawks and all those animals do eat vipers. Sometimes they avoid them because vipers are venomous, of course, and dangerous. But I mean, those animals are well equipped with talons and long beaks and everything else, so they can probably make a meal out of almost any snake that they want. They're very capable predators, right? And many animals do eat venomous snakes as well. That's why they're defensive as well. But this animal, what was I trying to say? You guys, I got so excited. This is so exciting to talk about. I love talking about blue-tongued skink. But like I said, this animal, what was I talking about? You guys, remind me what I was talking about. Anyway, so that's really something that's going to come in handy by looking like a dangerous animal in general. A lot of other predators may leave you alone. So that's what they do. They mimic. But this, of course, isn't a snake. They do have legs. But did you know that there are such things as legless lizards that are actually closely related to skinks too? One is the Sheltopusik. That is a European legless lizard. They're also known as that, and by many other names actually. And glass lizards are a legless lizard species that are found in the United States. There are several other ones. Those are lizards, but they have no legs, and they're closely related to skinks. They look a lot like this, but with no legs. So that might look a lot more like a snake than this animal even, but you can tell they're not snakes because the legs in this species, but other species, they also have ears, It's a little hard to see because of the way it's holding its head, but there's an ear hole on the side of the head there. That indicates that they have ears, of course, right? They can hear really well. And they don't have a forked tongue like a snake would have. They do have a really pretty tongue, but it's not forked with 2 points on the end of it. It's fleshy, kind of like our tongue. Maybe if I do that, BT will stick his tongue out too. That would be a good thumbnail for the video, right? But yeah, so that is going to be, of course, a really, really good way to tell this is not a snake at all. But mimicry helps this animal to stay safe from enemies. If at first glance they look like a viper, it probably is a viper to that other animal, so they might leave it alone in general. Another feature that lizards have and snakes do not is eyelids. There are a couple of lizard species, or a few lizard species, I should say, that do not have eyelids. Like a lot of geckos don't have eyelids, for example. They have a spectacle scale over their eye, which protects their eye, but it is clear, and so they can see right through it, and therefore they don't need to blink or have any eyelids. This species of lizard, however, does have functioning eyelids, and they can blink just fine. They can shut their eyes and go to sleep and take a nap, or they can blink to kind of clean their eyes, just like we do, or moisturize their eyes, right? So that's another feature that they have that is definitely not snake-like, because snakes, like I said, they have a spectacle scale, which is like a goggle scale right on top of their eye, to where they do not have to blink at all. Isn't that amazing? Now, who has questions about our blue-tongued skink BT? I know you guys are out there somewhere. I don't have a ton of viewers right now, but I appreciate the viewers that are out there. And if you have any questions, please let me know. This is always an interactive event. And please, please, please let me know if you guys would like any interactive events for yourself. We can book a virtual animal encounter or an in-person animal encounter. This is definitely an animal that can travel in person or virtually, of course. And we highly recommend once in a while for classrooms, especially because we're very, very educational, if you can't tell. And let me know if you have any questions. And you can even book us and ask your own questions in like a private classroom or something like that. That would be a lot of fun. Or a party. We do a lot of birthday parties as well. Even if it's virtual, they're still a lot of fun. And let us know. So no questions about BT. They are beautiful. They do not change color. A lot of lizards do have what we call chromatophores in their skin, which can expand and close to give the illusion of color change. And they appear to change their color. A lot of lizards are like that. The blue-tongued skink, however, is not a lizard that changes color at will. They do change a little bit as they grow from baby to adult. Ooh, I forgot to mention this. A blue-tongued skink lizard like this is not an egg-laying lizard. As you probably know, a lot of lizards do lay eggs. A lot of reptiles do lay eggs. But this lizard does not lay eggs if they happen to be female. Once they have mated with a male, a female will then actually get pregnant, of course. Well, maybe if the mating was successful. And then afterwards, they will actually give live birth to a litter of lizards. And they are live born. And they look exactly like the adults. They might be a little bit different colored as babies, and gradually as they shed their skin, they change a little bit. But this species doesn't change a ton by appearance, other than size and maybe a little bit of color change. They're absolutely adorable when they are born. We have had this guy, BT or girl, as long as, well, since being a baby, I should say, and has grown about this big now and should grow about twice the size in a few years, maybe a year or two, depending on how fast he or she decides to grow, I guess, and how much food he gets to eat, which of course we're going to take good care of him or her. Ricky says, are they solitary? In general, yes, these guys are pretty solitary. Most lizards are. I don't know much about them as far as socialness in the wild, but I don't believe they are social at all in the wild. Of course, they come together for mating purposes, and then litters of babies are born from mom, of course, like I said, but I don't believe mom takes care of the babies whatsoever. In fact, I'm pretty sure that the babies just go on their own and try to find their own little territories and their own food and all of that right away. A benefit of having a live-born litter as opposed to eggs is you don't have to worry about incubation, of course. So lizards that do lay eggs, they have to either bury them or hide them or protect them in order to, to keep them safe. And then they have to be kept at a certain temperature to incubate and then hatch out. Well, this species doesn't have to do that. All that happens inside of their body instead. And they give a live birth instead. Isn't that amazing? So they can skip all those steps, or that step of incubation, I guess, laying eggs and incubation, 2 steps. And then they're ready to go already. So they're pretty neat. So for the most part, yes, they are solitary. I don't know of anybody that keeps blue-tongued skinks together. In fact, you really shouldn't cohabitate this species or most species of reptiles together because, of course, they're confined, usually in human care, right? So they don't have a whole lot of choice to get away from one another. So most reptile species do very well all by themselves. They don't seem to mind at all. It looks like the spine is kind of inverted, but they are very flexible and very long-bodied. But again, that's to mimic a snake. I hope that answers your question, Ricky. Look at those beautiful brown eyes. Well, BT, you've done a fantastic job. Let me know if anybody else out there has any questions about BT, the blue-tongued skink lizard. This is a pretty common lizard throughout Australasia. And this specific type of blue-tongued skink is an Indonesian blue-tongued skink. So they would actually be from Indonesia, of course. And they do come from surrounding islands around Australia as well as Australia itself. And from what I hear, they're a pretty common species overall, and there are subspecies of them, like I said. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And again, we have skink species. If you happen to be in the US, we have skink species right here in the US. They're just much smaller. A lot of times they're hiding underneath grass, leaf litter, dirt, just like this skink would too, but of course this one's a lot larger and easier to spot. But look out next time you are raking leaves or leaf blowing or tending your garden. There are tons of skinks throughout the United States, and they help us out with eating bugs and other pesky critters like that. So leave them alone and they'll leave you alone. They're perfectly harmless to humans. A fun fact about some of our skinks here in the United States, not all of them, but some of them are actually toxic if you eat them. So that means that your pets shouldn't eat them. But typically it's not like a deadly toxin or anything like that. It's just like a bellyache, or in cats, I've actually seen neurological type issues. It typically goes away pretty quickly in most cases, but a lot of cats try to eat lizards and then suffer the consequences. So the best thing for your pet cats at home is to keep them indoors or keep them very well supervised in a backyard type situation where they can't really get into trouble, right? I've definitely seen in my time cats come in with weird neurological issues like crossed eyes and almost look like they're off balance and things like that. And typically it's a skink. They've eaten a skink or they've gotten into some other poison, which is unfortunate too. But that's another good reason to keep your cats indoors or well supervised, right? But skinks are sometimes toxic to animals eating them, which is a great defense mechanism. If you are toxic to eat, then animals shouldn't eat you. But I don't think this species of skink is toxic because I know they are preyed upon by other animals, which is why they mimic snakes. Okay, BT, you are beautiful. You are handsome. You are gorgeous. We're going to put you down. What a great little well-behaved lizard. I do highly recommend, if you are a responsible person and you wish to have a pet lizard, and you don't necessarily want like a tiny pet lizard like a leopard gecko or a crested gecko, I understand. You may want something a little bit larger than that. Blue-tongued skinks are my favorite medium-sized lizard to recommend for a pet. I don't typically recommend any of the animals that we keep here at Once in a Wild for pets in general, but a blue-tongued skink is very docile, as you can see. It doesn't really bite me. Very sweet to hold, a little bit wiggly at first, but then settles right down. They're really, really hardy. That means they're easy to take care of. It's really hard to go wrong with their care. They're easy to feed. They're not picky eaters. So if you ever want information on owning a blue-tongued skink, give me a little text or call, or you can go to onceinawild.com and ask for a contact. And I'd be more than happy to help you with your pet care. That goes for any reptiles, any birds, anything that you happen, cats and dogs. I have a lot of experience, so please let me know if you need any advice. But blue-tongued skinks are one of my favorite lizards to keep and also recommend for like kind of I would say, not really a beginner, but medium. What's the word for that? Intermediate? That's the word. Intermediate lizard pet, if you will. Not necessarily for like a little child, but for an older child to a teenager to adult, of course. They are great. It's a little bit difficult to find them captive bred because that is definitely what you want. You don't want to have any wild-caught specimens. I don't believe wild-caught specimens are legal anymore from Australia, but from Australasia, some of the surrounding islands, I believe that's still legal to import them. But what you want is to find a breeder that breeds them, and that you may have to pay a little bit more, but it's very, very worth it in the end to have a very healthy animal. But that is one of my favorite lizards to recommend because they're quite easy and they're very handleable. And they don't even have long claws or anything like that. Their little hands and legs are super tiny and their claws are tiny too. Okay, BT, you get to rest down below. And we're going to bring out a few other animals at once. I hope that's okay with you guys. And some of them are brand new to Once in a Wild. So we're very excited to welcome some of these animals. Now, if you know much about me and you know me in person, hi, my name is Amanda. I'm an animal lover. I love animals. I work with animals since I was 15 years old. And I'm in my 30s now, so it's been a long time. But I do have one animal fear of mine that I've had to get over time. And I'm still not really over it for some of these guys. You can see there's multiples coming, you guys. Oh my goodness. However, I have one animal phobia, and it is 100% a true phobia. And I believe that you can get over your phobias through exposure therapy. That's something that we also do here at Once in a Wild, actually. So if you are interested in getting over your arachnophobia, that's the fear of spiders. If you're interested in getting over ophidiophobia, that's the fear of snakes, we can help you out with those phobias. We can help you get over the fear of birds. We had a little girl who was afraid of tortoises, of all things, which I found really strange. But I mean, to each his own. What if she had a nightmare about a tortoise or something and it just scared her? The best way to get over your fears, especially of animals, is to have good and positive experiences with safe animals that are equivalent to your fear. So like a tarantula, we would never have you interact with a tarantula that was dangerous to interact with. We've got a couple of tarantulas here at Once in a Wild that are very, very safe to be around if you want to hold them, if you want to just get near and next to them. That is really, really awesome for your arachnophobia because it's going to show you that it's really not that scary. Another animal that a lot of people are scared of, including myself, are cockroaches. So I have brought some really awesome Madagascar hissing cockroaches. And forgive me, I do have a bowl of them. It's not a salad for me, it's a salad for them. Madagascar hissing cockroaches are actually detritivores. That means that they are not only mostly vegetarian, they also eat dead and decaying plant matter most of the time, as well as soil. That is what they eat in the wild. Here at Once in a Wild, they get some soil too and some substrate to hang out on and enjoy. They also get fresh browse, which is basically the leaves of the trees, right? I'm gonna take a brief drink really fast, you guys. Stickers can be purchased at onceinAwild.com. These are beautiful stickers. Sorry guys, dry throat. I've been talking all day, different programs. Please forgive. Detritivores. They eat soil, they eat dead and decaying plant matter, and they also eat fresh fruits and romaine lettuce, as you can see in The Care of Humans. That is perfectly fine. And these guys are very, very beneficial to the natural environment. Roaches that you find in your kitchen, those guys can carry diseases because those roaches are basically omnivores of any type of food. They can eat dead and decaying plant matter. They can eat rotting carcasses. They can eat garbage. They can eat fresh things. They can eat anything. Those animals, if you think about it, are pretty impressive because the general cockroach that you see in your kitchen or in your backyard, and there are many species of them, by the way. I don't even know all the species. There's so many species of cockroach. Most of them are invasive, to say like the United States, and most of them are not beneficial, and most of them carry diseases because of what they eat. They get into garbage, and then they carry all those germs and things, they carry all those germs and things with them to wherever they go, and they can go anywhere because they can fly, as you guys probably know, and they can skitter underneath doors and get in between like your cabinets and in your walls, and it's terrifying. That is not my favorite animal by far. In fact, I have a true phobia of roaches in general. But Madagascar hissing cockroaches are not the same as those guys. In fact, these guys have no wings. They don't really even move very fast, except for in short bursts to get away from danger. To me, they remind me more of like a beetle or something like that. And they don't eat all kinds of crazy things, and they carry no diseases, and they're very clean. So they're very different than the general cockroach. They're also only found in Madagascar, which is pretty special. Madagascar, of course, is a great big giant island off the coast of Africa. So they are in the African continent, but in Madagascar, right next door to the mainland of Africa. And these guys, like I said, they eat dead and decaying plant matter and soil. And therefore, they actually make the earth healthier by eating all those things, killing them. And you guys know what happens after animals eat food. They use the restroom like all of us. So when it goes and processes through their body, I'm trying to hold another one, but they just don't want to be held. They want all of their bananas and salad. When all that goes through their body and becomes processed, that processes through and becomes healthy soil in the end. Isn't that awesome? So these guys also clean up the environment by eating a lot of dead plants and things and soil, like I said. And then by processing it through, they fertilize the soil and make it nice and healthy. They also aerate the soil by digging through, kind of like worms do as well. Worms are very beneficial to you if you know much about gardening and composting and all of that. These guys are kind of like composters too. In fact, they are. This one looks like it's getting ready to molt. As an insect, it is an invertebrate as well. So invertebrates have no bones, no spine. Invertebrate means literally no spine, but they have no bones at all. So they have to have an exoskeleton instead. And that exoskeleton has to molt off of their entire body every once in a while as they grow, because kind of like reptiles, when they shed their skin, they're continuously growing. And instead of shedding skin, they shed their entire exoskeleton, which includes this hard shell all over their body, right? This one looks like it's getting ready to molt. Not only is it very dark in coloration, you saw the, let me show you two side by side and see if they cooperate. There's two side by side. The one here is lighter in coloration, more yellow. This one's darker. It looks like she is getting ready to molt. And also kind of hunched over like this and kind of really plump. So could be molting any day. When they molt out, their exoskeleton comes off, and they actually will be white for a little while until their exoskeleton hardens again and they get to start all over and look beautiful. Now, speaking of solitary, this animal is not solitary. They're actually extremely social. They live in great big colonies together, as do most of your insects, right? And all of your roach species, to my knowledge, are very social. They live in colonies together. They reproduce, like, not monogamously, like many, many mates is what I'm trying to say. And they will just kind of reproduce and reproduce and reproduce. Speaking of live births, this is another animal that gives live births. They do not lay eggs. I don't know if that's every cockroach species. I don't believe that's every cockroach species, but this species for sure. Hang on, little baby. Hang on. Trying to make sure that she doesn't fall. Hold on, hold on. Some of our roaches are a little bit elderly, so I want to make sure. Whoops. See? Bye, elderly roach. I'll be right back, you guys. I'm gonna have to grab this roach really fast. Don't worry, they're not very fast. So what happens sometimes, whoops, in nature as well, blooper reel, they will actually climb up like trees and things, and if they feel like, nope, this isn't safe, they will abandon ship and jump. I'm gonna try it again with the same roach. But they are very well armored, you guys. This is one of the few animals that I allow little kids to hold if they want to and they want to get over their roach phobia. See that? They can fall and they're perfectly fine because they're so well armored. They're very tough. I don't want you guys to think that I'm abusing our animals or anything like that. Yeah, so she's just not having it. So we're going to move on to the next roach. Luckily, I brought several, so it is okay. As you can see, this one's still chilling on my finger. They do have really, really grippy legs that can. I'm counting my roach to make sure they're all here. I have 5 of them. They have really grippy legs to grab onto things when they want to. But if they don't want to and they just want to jump down and they'd rather do that, that's okay. They have the choice. Like we said, we give our animals a choice, I guess. Roaches too. Where was I? Oh, see, that one actually crawled right underneath again. Aren't they cool looking? I think they're really neat. It took me a long time. I'm not kidding. It took me a long time to get very used to holding these guys. I never thought, we have another one jumping. Y'all, this is going to be for the blooper reel. I never thought that I would own Madagascar hidden cockroaches in a personal collection at all, except for maybe as feeders or something like that. Oh, poor roach. They are definitely food for other animals, but I've really gotten used to them. And to be very honest with you, I really like them now. They don't bother me at all anymore. I think they're so pretty. Now, how they hiss and why they hiss, right? So they do live in colonies. That's what I was talking about. They live in colonies together. They are very social. They like to be, pretty much living right on top of one another all the time. That is how they prefer it. They prefer to be together in numbers for safety. And they do talk to one another with hisses. And they also hiss for defense. So if this animal, a prey bug animal, all bugs are prey to at least something, right? This bug species, or insect species, if you will, invertebrate species, arthropod species, or all of that. These guys are preyed upon by quite a few animals in Madagascar in their natural environment, where they're from. And including animals like chameleons. Chameleons will eat these guys and sneak right up on them and eat them. It's one of their favorite things to eat is roaches. Chameleons love to eat roaches. Chameleons are great hunters in the wild. They're amazing. And in the care of humans. But another animal that actually eats them are lemurs. You guys know what lemurs are, right? They're like a prosimian or primate species that are very primitive. Lemurs are only found in Madagascar. Madagascar hissing cockroaches are only found in Madagascar. So naturally, this is a food item to many endemic species or indigenous species that live there. And lemurs will eat these guys. But the hissing mechanism in their bodies, because they can't produce a hissing sound, that will help protect the Madagascar hissing cockroach. Let's try this again with 3 roaches. Balance. No, that one's not having it. What about this one? There are 5, so I'm going to try to hold a couple of them or 3 of them at once. There we go. These guys do get eaten by lemurs, like I said, but a great defense mechanism is to sound like a hissing snake. Lemurs get eaten sometimes by boa constrictors like the Dumerul's boa or other boa constrictors and other snake species in Madagascar. And they're definitely fearful of those animals typically. So having a snake-like noise as a bug is going to usually scare away your enemies because a lot of animals are afraid of predators that hiss like snakes. So that helps them to stay safe. And how a Madagascar hissing cockroach hisses is not with their mouth like us, or most animals that hiss, they use their mouth in some way, right? Or like they're breathing when they hiss, they're breathing out or in, I guess. Yes, you are right. Next guest. Hold on, wait your turn. It is not time yet. Settle down. We have a very excited animal coming in last. Yes. Anyway, these guys do not hiss with their mouth. They hiss with their rear end. Isn't that interesting? So you can see all those little spots, especially on this, on this individual here along the abdomen. Insects have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen, 3 main body parts. On this animal's abdomen, they have these little spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 12 spots. They're called sphericals, and sphericals is how an insect breathes. And in this case, the Madagascar hissing cockroach, they have 2 sphericals that can produce a hissing sound. Not only breathing, but hissing. And that comes in handy when you want to protect yourself by hissing, or if you want to talk to another hissing cockroach. Males especially can use hisses to entice mates and things like that. And apparently that sounds really exciting to a female Madagascar hissing cockroach. But they're wonderful little animals. Hi, Viviana. It's okay for you to be late. I'm glad that YouTube is working this week. Aren't you? Zambumafu. Yeah, that's a lemur from the Wild Kratts, right? I'm a little bit too old to watch the Wild Kratts, but I believe that's the same people that have Zambumafu. That is actually a sifaka, which is a type of lemur, sifaka. But yes, all lemurs, there's many different species of lemurs, and they live only on Madagascar. To my knowledge, every single species of lemur is at least vulnerable to being endangered, if not all the way to critically endangered. So they're not doing very well. In fact, all of Madagascar, those animals only come from there. They don't have, unless they're a flying animal, obviously, that can escape the island and go to another place. The animals that live there, yes, it is from Wild Kratts. Points. I guess I knew that, even though I don't watch the show because it's a little bit past. I wasn't at the right age at the time, is what I'm trying to say. But it's a cute show. I've seen a couple episodes. Anyway, most of those animals do suffer from habitat loss because there's deforestation going on in the area and all kinds of things like that. So most animals aren't doing the best in Madagascar or in island type habitats throughout the world, like Indonesia and things like that. So the Blue-tongued skink that we showed earlier from Indonesia, same things, from an island or a group of islands, right? So island animals oftentimes have a little bit of the short end of the stick because, is that how you say that? They have the short stick, whatever it might be. They don't have it great because they're trapped. So like this species definitely can't fly. Like I said, they have no wings. They can't fly. They also can't swim across the ocean, as you might imagine. So they're stuck on the island of Madagascar. If Madagascar loses all of their forest due to deforestation and palm oil harvesting and all kinds of, human problems like moving into their territory and things like that, chopping down trees, all the bad things, that is not good for island animals, especially because they have nowhere else to go. So that does definitely affect them. That would be like their conservation message, I guess. And they are at the bottom of the food chain because they're detritivores on the forest floor getting eaten by other animals, but they're an extremely important bottom of the food chain animal because they feed a lot of animals. So if it weren't for them, we wouldn't have healthy soil. Them and other animals, I guess, like worms and things. We wouldn't have healthy soil for healthy plants to grow. Herbivores wouldn't have anything to eat on that island, and carnivores or insectivores wouldn't have much to eat if we didn't have roaches and other bugs. The circle of life, right? So we do need these type of animals in the environment. And again, this is not a dirty roach because they don't eat any kind of animal carcasses, to my knowledge, but they certainly don't get into people's garbage and things like that, like roaches that are invasive to the United States and things like that cause a lot of diseases and come into your kitchen and make us sick. Not the same thing. These guys are only detritivores, so mostly eating dead and decaying plants in the jungle. And also, they are very clean because they have their own little mini cleaning crew, which reminds me of little mini Roombas, and that is the Madagascar hissing cockroach mite. Yes, you heard me. These are the Madagascar hissing cockroaches. They also have Madagascar hissing cockroach mites living all over them. They're teeny tiny little bugs. Don't fall, sweetie, don't fall. Oh, you're doing so well climbing. I'm so proud of my one of my new roaches here. That is one of them right here. He's one of our new roaches. I say he because we know the genders, and I'll tell you how in just a little bit. So these guys have mites. Their mites are very healthy for them, though. They're not diseased mites. They're not diseased, and they don't carry diseased mites. The mites that live on this animal, get this, they only live on Madagascar hissing cockroaches. So not only is the Madagascar hissing cockroach a very important animal to the environment, they're also very important as an ecosystem of their own. That's right. They have their own little traveling crew. What are you guys doing? You're on camera. See, I told you they climb all over each other. Behave, you two. We do have a boy and a girl there. You guys. This is a once in a wild first. Anyways, the family show, you guys. Behave. I don't think that's what's going on. I think he's just looking for somewhere to go. Anyway, so these guys have their own mites, but the mites actually eat the dead skin off their body, keeping them nice and clean and healthy. They eat all the remains of food off of their body as well. Oh, he's just gone from roach to roach there. Well, not very picky, are we? And they're not monogamous, you guys. And also, like I said, that's the only place that these mites live. So I find that fascinating. It's like the little microscopic worlds that we don't think about because we're so much bigger than them. They are so important to those mites because those mites only live there. I know, right? Shield your eyes, children. Shield your eyes. I think he's just looking for somewhere to crawl. I'm being silly over here. So I did mention that we can tell he's a boy. I will show you. Oh, we have a boy and a girl right here next to each other. Like I said, we had two women and one man. So on a Madagascar hissing cockroach, a male, which is this one, has little bumps on the top of their head. I'm going to try to pick them up. Try to pick them up. So these are little bumps that they have on their head, like kind of helmet area, I like to call it. So their head is here, but they have kind of like a armored area over their head, kind of, sort of. It looks like a helmet. And they have little bumps on the top of that section. If they're male, if they're female, I'll show you this one that I was just holding that he was crawling all over. This female has no bumps. She is so cute. Hello, say hello to the people. She's got some banana on her leg. Banana is their favorite. So no bumps. And then bumps. See the bumps? There they are. That's a good view of the bumps. So that is only on males. I don't know if there's a particular purpose for that. That's something for me to look up. But I do know that it's probably to impress the ladies because the larger the bumps, the more likely he is to get a mate. But it's also just a really neat dimorphic thing about Madagascar hissing cockroaches. Did you think that cockroaches had like dimorphism? That means that males and females look different. I don't know if that's the same with common cockroaches that we see in the United States or any other species. I do know that some species other than Madagascar hissing cockroaches do have dimorphic features. Dimorphic just means different between male and female, right? The opposite of dimorphic is monomorphic. That means they look the same. You guys, I'm trying my best to hold all these roaches at once. And they're just not having it today. Oh, well, they just want to get back on their salad. I guess 3 is going to be the maximum today. But yeah, it took me a long, long time to get used to holding these guys. Once you get used to them, it's really not that bad at all. Because other bugs like beetles and, of course, well, arachnids like spiders and scorpions do not bother me in the least. I think what bothers me about roaches is their speed, their wings, of course, and the fact that we know that they're disgusting and dirty. But these guys are not. They're very different. You love their antenna. I love their antenna. They're so cute. Try one roach at a time so I can show you some. So like all insects, they have 3 main body parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. And they have 6 legs. And they have 2 antennae. Those antennae can feel, and those antennae can smell. How convenient. And that helps them to sense the world around them, of course. They're cute. You guys think they're cute? How many pounds of bananas do you go through weekly to feed your animal? Not very many bananas. Let's see. Some of our animals that eat bananas. BT, the blue-tongued skink lizard that was on here earlier. I think you missed him, but you can watch back if you want to. And I'm sure you've seen BT before. BT eats bananas. Lulu the tegu eats bananas. Joanna likes bananas too, but she doesn't get them very often. The tortoises, of course, like bananas too, but they don't also get them very often. Ha ha ha. Ooh, look at this. Don't bug out, everyone. But anyways, and then Sandor the rabbit, your favorite Viviana, he loves bananas, but he only gets them for working. They don't get bananas like on a daily basis, certainly at all, because they're very fatty. And our lizard friends that eat bananas only get fed, 3 to 4 times a week, depending on the season. They don't get fed every day by far. So it's really not that many. It's just kind of like 1 or 2 bananas once a month. Maybe 3 bananas a month. It's not that bad. But that's a really funny question. This is a great shot of our Madagascar hissing cockroaches. How much do you want to see me hold all 5 of them? I really want to. Let's see. Maybe on the arm. Ooh, look at that. Oh, we're going to do it, you guys. We are going to have 5 roaches. If it kills me. This used to be my worst nightmare, you guys. So it's really just this one that's having a hard time. She might be going through a molt. So she might be a little cranky. And this is one of our older females. A lot of our roaches are approaching about 5 years old, and we have lost a few because they only live to be about 5. But that is absolutely ancient when it comes to being an insect. There's 5 in one shot. Bam. There's my cover photo, YouTube. Bug out. Don't bug out. Anywho, so a lot of our roaches are old. When it comes to being an insect, though, being 5 years old, that is super ancient. Most insects only live a matter of weeks or months because their life cycle, happens very quickly. And when they become an adult phase insect, because most insects metamorphosize, right? So, for example, the most famous metamorphosizing insect of all time, the butterfly. Butterflies are laid from an egg, then they crawl out as a caterpillar or larva, then they become a pupa or chrysalis, and then they come out as what we know as a butterfly. But once that butterfly or moth or other insect, there's all kinds of different insects that do that, same process, there we go. I knew it was going to happen. That's okay. Right back in the salad. We're fine. And blooper reel again. Those guys, when they reach that adult phase of a butterfly with wings and all the beautiful things, then they don't live very long. It's a matter of weeks or months. These guys don't metamorphosize. They are born as a teeny tiny little baby roach, live born, and they usually have anywhere from 12 to maybe 30 babies in a little brood. And it really just depends on the female, I guess, and on the male, I guess, his fertility too. He counts too. And also, so those guys are going to just look like little miniatures of the adults. They're born white, and they shortly then after harden into a brown color like these guys. And then they just kind of grow up and molt their exoskeleton to grow up to be great big roaches like this eventually. And Madagascar hissing cockroaches can get a lot bigger than these guys, but to my understanding, there are subspecies of Madagascar hissing cockroaches that get bigger than others. So I have kind of medium-sized Madagascar hissing cockroaches. I need to do more research on the different subspecies because I would love to be more knowledgeable. Look at him again. What is he doing? Silly boy. I would love to be more knowledgeable on these guys because a lot of people ask me a lot of questions about them, and I don't know because I'm still learning about them because, again, it wasn't my favorite to begin with, right? I hope you guys enjoy seeing them. They're pretty neat. As far as how they feel, a lot of people ask me how they feel. They feel like smooth wood. Not bad at all. Very smooth. Not bad to the touch. Like a shell, but not quite as hard as a shell. Pretty cool. Like most bugs, right? Okay. Any questions about our Madagascar hissing cockroaches? Are you guys very excited to hear and see the screeching animal that's been screeching this whole time and excited? So there's one facing this way and then one facing that way. I think on that note, we're going to let them be alone, if you know what I mean. But I am happy to say and show you guys some of our new Madagascar hissing cockroaches. And as I was saying, some of our Madagascar hissing cockroaches are just getting old, like this lady here. She's about 5 years old, and that makes her a very elderly Madagascar hissing cockroach. We've already said goodbye to some of our Madagascar hissing cockroaches recently, so RIP roaches, but it is just the way it is. These guys don't live forever. As an insect, though, they do live a ton of time for an insect. And they have definitely produced a lot of babies for us. And so we're very proud of that, and we're very happy. And those babies are growing up, so I'd love to introduce you to those soon. A lot of them are actually almost this size too. But these are our, well, I brought 5 out of 10, like working roaches, if you will, that are big enough for me to hold. And as they age, they tend to be, when they're smaller, they tend to be a little more skittish. And as they get older, they tend to settle down a lot. So they're much more suited for handling and presentations and things. So say goodbye to our Madagascar hissing cockroaches. A wonderful species. Let me know if you have any questions about them, rather. And I'll let them be alone now, I guess. We're going to give them the rest of the salad in their container here. And now they're all contained. No more escapes. What's funny about them is when they fall down, and they just kind of like sit on the ground. They're like, what do I do now? And they kind of just like walk along. They're not super fast. When they're babies, they're faster. I think our next guests are very excited to see you guys. And I think they are also, they know that it's their turn. So I'm going to set some things aside, and we're going to reset our timer. You guys that know me know that my camera's on a timer. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for your patience as they reset. And now we're good to go. For those of you just joining us, hello, my name is Amanda. This is Once in a Wild. Every single Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, we present a live stream on YouTube and on Facebook, of course, which is where you're at now, one of those two. And please, if you haven't already, follow us on Facebook if you happen to use Facebook. And if you happen to not use Facebook, we're on Instagram too, which is at Once in a Wild Zoo. But we don't typically go live every week. We go live from here and there on Instagram, but Instagram is very different, as you guys know. But we also broadcast simultaneously on YouTube. And I would really love if you would share our YouTube channel, share the videos, like the videos, subscribe to YouTube, hit the notification bell, and all those good things. And stay tuned for any and all programming coming in the future. Pikachu and Eevee is your guess. You're half right. So the screeching animal that you hear is actually a brand spanking new animal to Once in a Wild, not Eevee. But Pikachu is here for moral support. So you guys ready? I'm ready. I'm going to set these guys aside and move the roaches out of the way. Out of the way, roaches! They need privacy anyway, if you know what I mean. I don't know what was happening there, but I'm not going to ask any more questions of them. It is their business. So we have a brand new animal, and please have patience with her because she's brand new. She's in training. I've had this animal for a couple of months. Some of those roaches I've only had for a few weeks, but roaches are a little different than this animal. I'm going to set some things aside to make it as easy as possible. Oh my goodness. We're going to see how she does by herself, and then we'll have Pikachu as well coming out. So it is a bird. It definitely is a bird. You can hear the bird. So this is a new rescue animal, you guys. Are you excited? Let's see how we do. Come here. Good job. I'm going to move slowly. This is our sweet little new budgerigard, or Australian budgerigard. Some people call them parakeets, but the true species is the budgerigard, and they're an Australian species, just like the blue-tongued skink. And they're also sometimes called a parakeet, but if you call these guys a parakeet, you're not wrong. You're just not being specific enough, because there are many species of parakeet all over the place. I'm gonna brush my hair out of my face. Little girl, are you okay with that? She seems all right. This sweet little angel came into our life a couple of months ago in September, and it was because she actually arrived in somebody's backyard in Austin. We're actually from San Antonio. We're not in Austin, but we received a call through different means. People were able to find us sometimes, you know, and we received information on this parakeet slash budgerigard. Budgie, we can call them a budgie for short. That's what everybody calls them. That had ended up in somebody's backyard. Flew into their yard, was already tame, was approaching them, looking for help. So it was obviously somebody's pet at some point. Obviously either a hand-raised or a very well acclimated little budgie. She's extremely sweet. She's also very, very young. Budgies are actually dimorphic too, just like the roaches, right? So the first animal we met was BT, the blue-tongued skink. That is a monomorphic species, a species that doesn't look any different between male and female. Madagascar hissing cockroaches are dimorphic. And this species, the budgie, is also dimorphic. So I know that she is very light colored white and she's also light blue, but in the wild, they are always green and yellow. They have a yellow head and other yellow markings and blue markings too. And they are mostly green. So green, yellow, and a little bit of blue as well, but it's a much darker blue than what R2 is. Did I tell you her name? Her name is R2D2, just like the beautiful droid, everybody's favorite droid from Australia. She's from Australia, from Star Wars, what I was trying to say. Her name is R2D2. So these guys make little beeps and little sounds like that, and they can mimic a lot of things. And so we went with the name R2D2. Plus she's kind of silverish blue and white, just like the droid from Star Wars. I'm gonna come to this hand. So I'm training her to go from hand to hand, just like that. And look how well she's doing. I'm so proud. We've been doing a lot of work with her. But to be very honest, she's a very sweet-natured, awesome bird, just the way she is. So already the first day that we had her, we kind of let her settle in for a little bit, and she did quarantine for a month away from all of our other birds, but now she's part of the flock, and her favorite bird is everybody's favorite bird, Pikachu, right? Everybody loves Pikachu, including R2D2, and they've become very, very good friends now. And we're really happy that she's thriving and happy and safe. But these people that contacted us and that we happened to get in contact with one another, I guess, they needed a home for this bird because they didn't know what they were doing with the bird, and they certainly knew that she needed a good home, and so she came to live with us. And at first I thought, I don't know about this because, stray budgie, we don't know if they're going to be tame or be able to be part of what we do here once in a while, but certainly I was going to help her out regardless. And I did mention that earlier in the program that we do help homeless animals that need help. Whether it's us or someone we know taking them and things like that, we always trying to find a good, responsible, appropriate home for animals that are strays and things like that. Mostly exotic animals, but even dogs and cats, we can try to help out with that as well. And hi, R2. Very, very cute. We love her already. So pretty. Thank you very much. Hello, Angela. It's so nice to see you. It's been a while. So this little budgie came into our life about 2 months ago. I already mentioned that, but I wanted to reiterate. And she's a stray. Nobody has claimed this bird. So either an escaped pet store bird, an escaped bird in someone's home. She's very tame, as you can see. We've only had her a couple of months and she's already a pro. So doing great. And I was going to say these are dimorphic species. So something on their nose is called a cere. That's where their nostril is, but it's kind of a colored area around their nose. You can see a really good view of it there, right above the main part of the beak. And she's eating with very, very fast. She's such a hungry little hippo right now, eating all the millet, her favorite treat. But right above that is where the nostrils are, right? And that is called the cere. And the cere, between male and female, it is different colored. Now in babies, it's harder to tell. Now, we guess that she's not very old at all because her cere is not a mature female colored cere, is what I'm trying to say. So she's probably very young. She's probably, 6 months to 8 months old, something like that. Good job. And fully flighted, as you can see. We keep our birds fully flighted. And good thing she was, too, because she would have been literally a sitting prey item for any kind of animal out there in nature if she hadn't had the ability to fly and get to safety. But yeah, so that cere, right where their nose is, right, where their nostrils are, usually for a male is going to be, a mature male is going to be bright blue. And for a female, it's going to be like a brownish or pink, something like that. But as babies, they're even dimorphic, too. There's certain colors and shades you can look for. So I have asked a lot of my budgie people out there, and everybody agrees that it is a female. So she's a little girl, and she's really taken to Pikachu, like I said, really well. They seem to be best buds already. They can sit side by side and eat treats together already. And this type of bird is very, very social with other animals, including their own flock, especially their own flock, of course. But they're social together. Most parrots are like that. They live in great big flocks together. But this species is also known in the wild to actually hang out with their flock as well as, come here, good girl. She didn't even need to be baited with the treat that time. Good job. What a smart little angel I have here. Here you go. It's just hard to hold my hand at weird angles, right? Here, can we reposition this? No? Okay, that's fine. You get what you get, I guess. Good girl. There you go. Millet, by the way, is typically a small parrot's favorite treat item. So if you're wondering what you can use for training purposes, millet is usually where it's at. Even Eevee works really well for millet, and Eevee is stubborn. Anywho, so these guys are often found in huge flocks of hundreds, if not thousands of other budgies in the wild, or budgerigards in Australia. And that, of course, is for safety in numbers, because look how tiny this bird is. They are so very tiny. So living in big numbers together is going to, of course, give them safety in numbers, because if you live alone, you're going to be singled out by a predator. If you don't live alone and you live in a big group, there's a lot more chances that you won't get spotted or singled out by a predator. So this species is also known to flock with other types of species like cockatiels in the wild. So naturally, cockatiels and budgies might live in the exact same place and habitat and even mingle together. So it's actually pretty natural to see budgies and cockatiels hanging out. And Pikachu, as we all know, is like the best bird on the planet. So of course she was very accepting of R2-D2 here, our new bird. Now it wasn't like a kind of first day kind of thing. It took a couple days for them to get used to each other, because Pikachu had never seen this bird before. Good job. Already well trained. Look at that. But it only took a couple of days for them to get used to one another. R2, though, this bird, R2-D2, she really wanted to be friends with Pikachu like right away. They're very bold, very brave for their size. Aren't they gorgeous? Hello, Sinitra. Good to see you, even though I couldn't see you in person today. Sinitra also owns her own animal company called Springing Scales. Please check her out on Facebook, and otherwise, whatever links you want to leave down below, Sinitra, feel free. And what Sinitra does is rescues reptiles, and she rescues reptiles that really need help, like true rescues that have health issues and all kinds of things. And she also knows a lot of people in the reptile community as well. So if you ever need to place a reptile that is not doing well, Sinitra is the one you need to go to. Sinitra Robinson, right down below. Springing Scales. What is your slogan? Springing reptiles back to life or something like that, but it's called Springing Scales. She's wonderful, so check her out. Yeah, doesn't everybody love her? We just love her. Budgies weren't really an animal that I necessarily had a goal to necessarily obtain right now, but I do love budgies. I've always wanted to keep one or two, or a flock of them. Maybe someday we'll keep a flock of them here at Once in a While. I would love to have Pikachu also come out together with R2-D2. How would you guys like that? I'm gonna make sure they have plenty of food to enjoy, so we don't have any competition here. And like I said, they're pretty much friends, but we don't want to make it difficult on everybody. So we're gonna invite Pikachu out here as well and see how that goes. Get my hands full here. Pikachu, good job. Look at this. We got two birds out at the same time. Once again, both from Australia. Pikachu, if you've never met her before, which I don't know how you couldn't have met Pikachu before, because she's always on the show. I'm gonna hold this like this so she can eat it. Got my hands full, you guys. Birds everywhere. Pikachu is one of our frequent flyers, if you will, out here Once in a While. Get it? I'm so cheesy. Anywho, she's always out here, but she's our cockatiel. She's our best cockatiel and best bird at Once in a While. But this one is fast becoming another best bird too. Aren't you excited? I'm so happy that they are both out here at the same time and here on the show. How could it get any cuter than this, you guys? Pikachu is going through a molt right now on her face. Please forgive. Birds go through molts to lose their feathers, and then they regrow their feathers, so sometimes they look a little rough. But I'm so happy that R2-D2 has a good friend with Pikachu, just like I have a good friend with Pikachu. She's one of my favorite animals we have. So what questions do you guys have about our beautiful parrots? So that, oh goodness. We're going to share hands. Are you guys going to be friendly? I guess so. Be good, be good. I will resupply if you guys run out. Oh my gosh, that's so cute, you guys. So they're very light colored as well in this bright lit studio as well. As you can see, R2 is almost completely white, but she's got light blue, and Pikachu is a special coloration as well. If you've never seen Pikachu before and never heard about her, that would be strange because she's on all of our videos almost. But here you go. I'm gonna keep adding food over here. Settle down. They're so excited about their millet, their favorite treats ever. She's also a special coloration called a Lutino, which is a yellow coloration, of course, with orange cheeks, just like she has. They're making a big, giant mess. Pet birds are one of the messiest pets you can have, by the way. Definitely an advanced type pet. But these two, I would definitely venture to say, bye, Pikachu. I would definitely venture to say are some of the better pet parrots that you could pick. And you might be thinking, a parrot? Isn't this a parakeet? Well, yes, but they're in the parrot family. parrot family, parakeet, just tiny ones. So we have a tiny cockatiel here. We thought that was tiny. Here's a tiny parrot here. A budgerigard from Australia. They're both from Australia. And aren't they darling? We love them so very much. But they are definitely a parrot. What makes them a parrot? A curved bill with a lot of strength to it for eating things like seeds, as you can see, but they also eat nuts and other vegetation that they need to crack open. And having that powerful beak, okay, share girls, they're doing really well. They have a very strong beak, which helps them to have a lot of power for crunching nuts and seeds, and that goes for all parrots of all sizes. Not only do they have a powerful beak, they also have zygodactyl feet. Here's a nice big piece for you guys to enjoy. Right here. They have zygodactyl feet, which are 2 toes in the front and 2 toes in the back. Oh, so excited. And they also have an upright stance at rest. So parrots have an upright stance, a curved, powerful beak like a wrench or a nutcracker, if you will, and zygodactyl feet. That's what makes a parrot a parrot. And there are parrots all over the world, right? Of many shapes and sizes. The budgie is one of the smallest parrot species in the world. The cockatiel is also one of the smallest species of parrot in the world. And the largest species of parrot are macaws. So hyacinth macaws are actually the largest of all the macaw species. So they come in all different sizes. Cockatiels are related to cockatoos, which is another type of parrot, of course. A great big parrot in Australia. You guys are making a huge mess. I wish you guys could see all my viewers could see the giant mess that is down below me, but it's so worth it, just like Angela says. Viviana says, are they both good about mimicking sounds? So R2-D2 happens to be a budgie, right? Here. Happens to be a budgie. You see Pikachu there? So budgies are very good at mimicking. In fact, they're one of the best talking birds in the animal kingdom. Out of all the pet birds you could possibly own, the African gray is the best talking bird in my opinion, but you've got animals like Amazons and Eclectus and all kinds of parrots that can mimic. Most parrots can mimic a little bit, but not every individual is going to necessarily mimic just because their species does. R2-D2 is a budgie, like I said, and especially male budgies are excellent talkers. They can talk really well. In fact, look it up. Look up talking budgie and you won't regret it. They are amazing talkers. I'm trying to keep Pikachu happy over here. I'm causing a big mess for myself. Anyway, but Pikachu doesn't really mimic much at all. She will whistle a little bit. Her partner Eevee, though, the male cockatiel that we have, he does mimic and talk, and he's learning new words like almost every day, I swear. Every day he says something and I'm like, what is he learning now? So I have to watch what I say around him, if you know what I mean. That's all parrots though. But budgies, she should be very, very good at mimicking voices. And also we're trying to teach her R2-D2 sounds, of course we are, because we're all Star Wars fans up in here. So we do play Star Wars videos for her and R2-D2 videos. I imagine that Eevee is also going to pick up some of those noises too, because he's really good at mimicking. But yeah, look up Budgie's talking. She's very young. Like we said, we don't really know how old she is or anything, but we imagine she's just a few months old, maybe 6 to 8 months old, something like that. So definitely not an old bird by any means, right? Oh my gosh. And as they grow, they can learn more noises and mimic more things. So we shall see. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But we're so happy to have her. It was kind of one of those just like meant to be type of things, because she just showed up in somebody's life, right? Needed a home, literally flew into somebody's backyard and ended up being super cool, super tame. Obviously had interaction with humans before that was positive, so we're thankful for that. Let's see if Pikachu can get closer. I just put Pikachu on my shoulder because it's easier. It's a huge mess up in here. Who wants to clean up this mess for me? Goodness gracious. Well, you guys, it's been a lot of fun. It's been super messy. I think I want to end on a good note because these birds are having a blast up in here. R2-D2 is having a great first live stream. She's just like, hey, there's more under here. Smart bird. Very smart. She's doing great. I'm happy to report. Very, very happy to have her. And we're doing well. And yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on her training. As you can see, it's going pretty well so far. Pikachu has a new best buddy. I'm so happy for both of them. Well, you guys, it's been fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and say see you later. And I hope you've enjoyed our animal program today. We met BT, the blue-tongued skink. We met R2-D2. Thank you, so pretty. Pikachu wanted to highlight your comment, apparently. She went down. We met R2-D2. We met some of our new Madagascar hissing cockroaches as well. And we have Pikachu, of course, a frequent flyer, if you will, here once in a while. Let me know if you would like your own animal program of your own. Let us know at onceinawild.com or give me a call down below. We're always here for you, and yes, guys, I'm flustered because I'm so excited about how well she's doing. I didn't expect this at all for her to do so well. So she's definitely going to be here on the show a lot now that I know she's super comfortable in here. So what a great animal. Well, you guys, thank you so much for being here. We hope to see you next time, next week on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We are a mobile zoo based in San Antonio, Texas. So let me know if you would like an in-person animal encounter of your own as well. But until next time, we will see you here at Once in a Wild.
We are nothing close to ordinary, but we love to be your friend. Hold our hands and let's have fun together, singing as loud as you can. Everybody singing Once in a Wild. Together. Once in a Wild. I wanna hear you say Once in a Wild. And that's the fun for me and you.
We'll see you guys next time here at Once in a Wild. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube and follow us on Facebook. I don't know how I can end the program with all my hands full, but I'm going to try. Bye, guys.